So the first question, what's your name? My full name is Gabriella Turvey, but I prefer to be called Gabby. I'm originally from Olathe, Kansas, but right now I am in Manhattan, Kansas, because I do have some in-person classes. Describe my adolescence in one word. I want to say it's phases, because I went through like being a fan of a bunch of different popular media stuff when I was in my adolescence or puberty stage. Like when I was around 11 or 12, I became a fan of The Wanted, and then it switched to One Direction, and then it switched to 5 Seconds of Summer, and that was all through middle school. And then by the time I hit high school, I went through my emo phase. I listened to bands like Black Veil Bride, Sleeping with Sirens, stuff like that. And then from that, it switched into Supernatural, the TV show. I was a really big fan of that. And that was like the first 2 years of high school. And the last 2 years of high school, I was actually a really big fan of like K-pop and K-dramas and anime and all that stuff. And then by the time I got to college, I found I didn't really have enough time to like go in depth and like learn about all the updates and new bands and stuff like that. So I kind of like stopped doing that as much, and now I just listen to like regular pop music or rap music, whatever's trending. Why I chose that is just because I feel like that's what I remember most about my adolescence. It's just the different things I went through phases of, because I can like kind of bookmarks different chapters of my life. Why am I here? I kind of take that, and I'm gonna interpret that question as like, why am I kind of taking this class? I am planning on teaching secondary English in high school, not middle school. So a lot of the people all the students I'm gonna be interacting with are gonna be going through their puberty stage, and like the books I'm gonna be teaching, they're not gonna be, at least for me, I didn't really find them appealing when I was going through adolescence. Like I had to read stuff like Hamlet, Romeo and Juliet, Scarlet Letter, Huck Finn, and Great Gatsby. I did really like Great Gatsby though. But one of the things that I really want to figure out in this class is just like what parts about books interest adolescents the most, because I know reading like Shakespeare is not everyone's favorite thing to do. So I really want to try and like zone in on something that my students can really like enjoy to further develop and like have a discussion about. But yeah, that's my answers for part 1. Okay, so part 2 of the video response, what is adolescence? According to the lecture, I think it's something that's very hard to define, because there's no really specific definition, because it varies a lot from country to country. And some people classify it as puberty, some people classify it as the age of consent. There's just not one secure definition of it. But I think generally people can agree that it's their teen years. It's from anywhere between like 12 or 10 to 20. So it's that solid decade that people are growing and trying to discover themselves. So going off of that, some of the social characteristics of adolescence, I think it's a lot of trying to find your identity and seeking independence. That's why a lot of teenagers, I think, just like want to not listen to their parents as much and kind of do what they want to do. They want to have more responsibility. So it's a lot of like them trying to figure out what they want to do. Okay, what did I read when I was a kid? I feel like in my early adolescent years, I was more inclined to do like reading in my free time, whereas when I grew up more, I became more busy with school, and so I didn't really have a lot of time to like free read and find a book by myself that I wanted to read. But when I did read, I would read like Hunter Games or Divergent or a lot of John Green books. I also read Dark Matter and just a lot of like sci-fi. Ender's Game. I really liked Ender's Game too. A lot of like sci-fi, like futuristic books is what I read when I was a teen. But as I got in my later high school years, I didn't really have a lot of time to read that, because I was more concerned with just reading the books that was assigned in my English classes. But yeah, those are my answers for part 2.